Degloirespace signing in. In a world where everybody now seems to be confused as what it means to be a man, one of the things that I've seen as part of these many theories, because everybody will have a theory that they're going to push forward. One of the theories is a man always says what's on his mind. You know, he doesn't beat around the bush. He says things straight to the point. And it's seen as a strength. And of course, they give you examples of people like Genghis Khan. The level of the delusion that you see these days. Do you always say what's on your mind? No, you don't. And it's got nothing to do with manhood. It's got nothing to do with masculinity. It's got to do with just being socially intelligent. When you're dealing with people, there's a maze that you're trying to solve. You want to balance. It's a two-way transaction. If to you it's always one way because you're modeling yourself on Genghis Khan, you know, I think that's pretty insecure. And there's no wisdom in it. To force your will on everything, one, do you see that you have all the answers? Do you see that no one else has anything to offer? It's your way. For some reason, you know, you're 30 years old or 25 or whatever, and for some reason you have worked it all out that you don't need to listen to other people. You don't need to negotiate. Whenever people give you theories, and that's what these are, they're theories. There's no such thing as one way to be a man. You come from different cultures. There are different ways that people are taught about masculinity. But here, what you need to ask yourself is, when you listen to these theories, don't you put any filter systems? Like, you don't ask yourself anything about them. Just because somebody is sitting with a bald head, a few tattoos, and a deep voice, that's it. You just give in to everything that they say, and they have some money, they've had sex a few times. Like, is that all it takes for you to be convinced? And I'm talking here, not only, like, even the older generation seems to be taken by all this show. Should you always say your opinion? Should you always say it how it is? No, you don't. It depends on the situation. And for those who've traveled, sometimes you go to some countries, if you say what's on your mind, you're going to get arrested. And does it make you tough that you got arrested and thrown into prison? Does it make you tough? It doesn't make you tough. It makes you dumb. Because survival is part of our way. Think about it like this. Let's go back into time when we, human beings, used to hunt a few days in a row. Even hunters would use different deceptions, different indirect ways. It makes sense. You gotta apply those things to your day to day. The way that we deal with nature is the way that we're gonna deal with other people. Do you think people are unnatural? People are always dealing with human nature. The things that we're seeing today in the world, they're human nature. Those things like greed and wanting to be heard and putting yourself first. Do you think those things are not part of human nature? When we say human nature, it's not all good. Some things in your human nature will lead you to destruction, and some things will lead you to being constructive. So when you ask something, you don't always give the direct truth. So when you're asked to give your opinion, you do give a version of the truth that best suits the place and the era and the audience that you're talking to. You know, if a little kid asks you something, you don't give them the same opinion. And when you're in a place and you're asked a question, sometimes the question that you're asked is bait. And if you're trying to be all alpha and all those things that, I speak direct, you get baited straight and you fall right into the trap. The reality is, better than answering the question that you're asked, answer the energy that you're asked. Why is it that we constantly want to skip the part about developing your intelligence? Why is that part always put aside? There seems to be such reluctance to work on that. You either think you have it all straight away, which nobody has. I mean, look at the examples of Even if we look at religious figures, it took, I think on average, most prophets to become prophets to the age of 40. And what does that tell you? It means they had to experience certain parts of life. You're not just born there and that intelligence needs no work. There's always work to be done. And when you do state your opinion, do you state your opinion to force others, or do you state your opinion because this is what you believe, but you are open for something better? I'm not saying there is something better, but I'm open to it. If somebody's telling me their point of view, there could be things that I will adapt from their point of view. Not everything is about asserting dominance or being dominated. That's one way of viewing society. If you're not dominant, someone else will dominate you. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but it's not the end all, because there's always the next question, which is, why am I able to be dominated? And if we look at like Taoist wisdom or ancient martial arts wisdom, if you look at styles like judo or aikido and such like that, you'll find that sometimes, or many of the times, when something hard is coming at you, instead of going at it as hard as it's coming at you, you move with it and then you use its energy against it. So don't think that for me to be seen and taken seriously, I need to always be clashing with everybody. I need to always be asserting my point of view. What is your motive? Is your motive just asserting dominance? That's the only thing that you're looking at? Or is there a motive to also be better as a person? Because as you become better, you can deflect situations before they even appear. That is superior in the art of war. Imagine you had two choices. One, somebody's fired an arrow at you and then you're thinking, what do I do? Two, you see the archer before he even loads the arrow. Which one is better? Naturally, the second option. It minimizes the damage that can happen to you. It gives you more time to act. And I think that logic probably applies to most things. What is better? You countering a punch as it's about to hit your face, or being able to read the other person's body as the punch is being thrown? We can even go on a bigger scale. You've got signs of an earthquake happening or a tsunami. Do you wait for it to happen? Or if you have the knowledge, you can act before it happens. You see the signs, the bubbling of the water. So going back to the original question, do you always state what you believe straight out? No. You read the situation. You see its appropriateness. You see your motive. Is it even like me stating my opinion? Is it just for dominance, or is there other things involved as well? Am I part of a business deal? Are there many people that can benefit? Is there a way that I could state my opinion by including other people so that we can be a group, a company together? There are so many other questions. Just by stating for you to be a man, you always put your opinion, you always state your opinion, what you believe. No, you don't. Even when meeting women, you don't say, hi, my name is, insert your name. I want to do, insert wild bedroom activities. We don't behave like that. And even though that may be one of your motives, or maybe your only motive, but you're not gonna get it that way because you're not intelligent. Even though she knows that that's one thing you want to do, or maybe the only thing you want to do. But society has ways that we communicate, that we act. You keep your motive to yourself. You know, this is why I'm here. You put that motive to yourself, but you need to be able to read the room. When is that person ready to hear this? When is this person not ready to hear this? What is your situation in terms of power? Are you right at the top that if you state your opinion, there's going to be no consequences? Or are you somewhere in the middle where you got to balance what you say? There is intelligence involved in that answer. It's not just, you just do this. It's a blanket answer. It's not all about dominance. If all you're thinking about is, I need to dominate this argument, you know what? You will get dominated, because here we're going back to the art of war. Something's coming at you, you're going right back at it. You haven't learned that you move with it. To throw it easier, you take a step with it. You use part of its momentum to throw it forward. You haven't learned that, and you need to learn that. This is intelligence. Yes, all these cues that people tell you, behave like this, dress like that. Yeah, they're all important, but nothing is as important as developing your own intelligence. The intelligence that allows you to read situations. And that is based on your inner awareness. The more you are aware of how your vessel is working, how your mind is acting, the more you'll be able to give real feedback that gets you outcomes. And this is what we do here on Degloirespace. We address questions to develop our inner world in all different scenarios that happen to all of us. Degloirespace, signing out.